So I've had my Meta Quest 3 for about a month, and just like I promised, we are going to do our 1 month check-in today. A lot's happened. We've got the new version update, we've gotten over 20 games, a bunch of mixed reality games, and a bunch of Quest 3 enhancements from the previous games, so there's a whole lot to talk about. Version 59 we're going to talk about a little bit later because frankly I don't think it helped a lot of you. We also need to address the controversy over the battery power and why I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. So let's get into it. Let's start with the hardware. Newsflash, the default strap still sucks. I'm still on the fence about the facial interface because I really do love the sliding mechanic, being able to slide it back and forth towards or away from the lenses. I think as third-party vendors start putting their facial plates out, as we start getting stuff from companies like VR Cover, like Kiwi and Bobo, there's a chance that we're going to get something better than this. I'm still looking for a good silicone cover to go over this, but I think I want to just change out the entire facial interface as long as I'm able to still do the slide back and forth. Other than that, my thoughts on the hardware really haven't changed. The lenses are great, the mic still sucks. The changes have really come in the software, which is what my biggest complaint was when we did the 1 week review, was the software needed some help. Moving into the games, it's been kind of a mixed bag. We'll start with the Quest 3 enhancements first. These are existing games that got Quest 3 lifts. Some of them just raised the render resolution up to that 30% gap between Quest 3 and what Quest 2 was. There was a lot of stuff for like dynamic lighting, for adding shadows, for adding more particle effects. I've had the pleasure of playing multiple of these games. I played, among others, Resist, Hubris, Drop Dead Dual Strike, Guardians Frontline. I love the fact that developers are doing this because it gave us a reason to play Quest 3 in a week where the games that came out were Genotype, Cibrix, and BAM. All perfectly fine games. BAM was built with mixed reality in mind, but especially if you're talking about something like Genotype. Genotype is not a game that showed off the power of that headset, and that was the first really venture game that came out since Quest 3 launched. It has since gotten a Quest 3 enhancement, and it looks phenomenal now. It looks really, really good, and it was a good looking game before. Check out the full review I did on the channel before, but at least at the point of launch, it wasn't something that was going to show off the power of the headset. And you see that to follow with stuff like NFL Pereira 2 with 7th Guest. 7th Guest has since gotten a Quest 3 update. But basically for most of the games that were coming out, we were all asking the same questions. Does that Quest 3 the enhancement? Does that Quest 3 enhancement? We just asked that question over and over and over again because we were wanting a reason to use the headset. So God bless the developers who had existing games and, want to generate interest in their older games, but they gave us something to do. There were some disappointments in the new games. Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord was a bit of a letdown for a lot of people. The Foglands was something that a lot of people were looking forward to, especially because it's not like VR doesn't have enough roguelites, but that game did come out and unfortunately just didn't seem to do very well. Vampire the Masquerade Justice, I'm actually playing right now. I'm playing that over on Twitch and I'm having a really good time with it. So far so good, but again, it was a game that was built for Quest 2. I think the crux of it is we were looking for new content to play, and in the absence of new content in those first couple of weeks, we were looking to the developers who already had existing games, and you could just see them doing it left and right, announcing stuff on X, and putting out stuff on Reddit, putting out teaser videos of, hey, we have a Quest 3 enhancement coming. The other big piece of content we had was mixed reality, and not so much the games. First Encounter was very good. I thought Drop Dead the Cabin's Home Invasion was very good. But the main thing is it expanded the use case of what people will use this for. You saw people cooking, you saw people playing Minecraft outside and just flipping out over that. That TikTok got an insane amount of views and brought a lot of attention to that. People are creating more use cases for this in a way that didn't really work with the Quest 2 because the black and white pass-through just wasn't up to snuff. So even though the color pass-through isn't as great as people were hoping it would be, we're still seeing a lot more versatility come out of this headset, really more so than any other headset I've seen on the market thus far. And I love to see that because in the absence of like top tier VR entertainment, there's still been other reasons for other people to get excited about this. So that's cool. One thing I was really excited to see was the third-party vendors start to get in the game. So when Quest 3 first launched, we only had the meta options for accessories to come out with. So that meant the $130 battery powered Elite strap. We'll talk again more about the battery power in a minute, or the $50 facial interfaces with the same like different color default straps. And that's really important because I mean, who really wants to pay those meta prices? Like $130 for a battery strap, I think is absolutely insane, and I wouldn't pay it. So I'm glad we're going to get more options, even though right now the batteries aren't really up to snuff. As I record this video, Zyber, Kiwi, Bobo, Anapro, and a host of other third-party vendors are revisiting their batteries, the ones that weren't able to hold charge on the Quest 3 or didn't have like the wattage or the current to deliver the proper charge to the Quest 3 to keep it going the way you would want. They're revisiting all the batteries, and I think we're going to get excellent products in the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for those. There'll be a whole other wave of accessory videos from myself and other content creators as we get like the second generation of like battery stuff for the Quest 3. Then there's version 59, and I'm not gonna lie, like when I read the release of what was coming, I was kind of underwhelmed. There were two things I was actually excited about, then I got them, and so let's just run down the list here. The first thing was reactions and more have entered chat. I couldn't help but laugh because, I mean, for a social media company that's supposed to be on the cutting edge of technology with something like this, they're still behind when it comes to like basic social engagement, which blows my mind. I think that's a large part of why Facebook has been struggling as much as it has. It still blows my mind that Quest does not have any interface with Instagram, which is a company that Meta owns, with WhatsApp, a company that Meta owns. The fact that you can't bounce between all those, everything seems to be running still through Facebook. The streaming app only works for Facebook. We'll talk about the YouTube chat thing in a minute, but if you want to stream natively, that only goes to Facebook Gaming. Why can't you stream live to Instagram? Again, this is a very versatile headset, Meta. Why is it that someone who wants to do like mixed reality cooking or something like that, why can't they stream their Instagram channel that they're already streaming to their hundreds of thousands of viewers? I don't understand why that integration isn't there yet. Hopefully it comes in the future. But for now, you can react to someone's message in chat. Yay. The next one was the YouTube live chat. And again, this is something I expected a lot more out of. Speaking to someone who has used the YouTube live chat feature, there's a couple of things I don't particularly care for. It's like a step in the right direction, but it's like a half step. To use the YouTube live chat feature, the way it works is that you select go live in your headset, and there's Facebook right there, and then right below it says YouTube live chat. There are a couple caveats to this. So you have to be live on the public channel to be able to use it. You have to be live before you even set this up, so you can't do proper stream prep ahead of time, which is something that a lot of live streamers do to make sure they're ready to go. And it forces you into using the standard browser casting method. If you're a creator who likes to cast your gameplay to a Chromecast, which I think is a better feed than a browser cast, you can't do that. If you're someone like me who likes to use the new casting beta and the Meta Developer Hub, can't do that. You are locked into the browser streaming, and frankly, to me, that's the worst viewing experience of anything on this headset. Recorded content looks fine now. They changed the recording settings, but that browser just looks bad. 1024 by 1024, 30 frames per second just looks awful. So forcing us, bottlenecking us into that to be able to see our chat drives me nuts. After about 30 minutes of fiddling with it, I just bailed on it and went back to the method I was currently using. So I am submitting feedback to Meta about this because I did get early access to it, and hopefully they listen. I think, again, it's a step in the right direction, but I think it does still need work. And more importantly, I don't think this helps the average consumer. How many of you are going to be streaming to YouTube? And if you were streaming to YouTube, wouldn't you want to do it inside the headset itself so you don't have to go through the process of setting up Streamlabs or OBS or whatever streaming software you want to use? Like, that's a very, very niche product that you're kind of marketing towards. And I don't think it helps a lot of people. It helps exposure and marketing for Meta, which I feel like is a lot of what they were going for with this update, but it's not a value add for a lot of consumers. Keep up with your friends. Want to squad up with friends for some Population 1 or hang out in Meta Horizon Worlds? The new Activities tab makes it easier than ever to connect and play together. This new tab will show invites to recommended apps and games for your group to get together. The only real win here is that it's now easier than ever to start a phone call with your group. So if anyone in the group is in the active call, this new layout displays who is in the call so you can quickly join them. I guess that's a little bit more convenient than what it was before, but again, is that a massive value add? Not really. The battery saver. The battery saver was already there. It was already there. I did a video 3 weeks ago, excuse me. I did a video 3 weeks ago about how to increase your battery power, and one of the first things I said was the battery saver mode, which disables 120 Hz refresh rate and lowers the brightness on your headset. So this reads, extended battery feature gives you more control over the trade-off between active battery life and high performance. It's designed to help you decide whether you want to extend play time or experience the best possible graphics. You can toggle this feature on and off in your power settings. It feels like they're more publicizing this feature more than like enhancing it and making it better than what it was before. So again, I don't think it was a value add compared to what was there before. The last one, the new parental controls. I have a daughter who has a Quest 2, so I actually did appreciate this. But again, how many of you have more than one Quest in your house? So I know this whole update are just like small incremental steps that I don't think really drove something that was going to help a lot of consumers. Like each thing seems to help a very specific subset of consumers, but none of them really helped a ton of people. B59, bit of a dud, I'm not gonna lie. There's one thing that is not on this list I was really happy they added. They changed the OS so all of a sudden your meta avatar arms were in there. Those plasticky, shiny looking hands with no fingernails were just kind of like reaching all through you, trying to like strangle something in there. It didn't make any sense. I hated it. I looked like a black Stretch Armstrong. Couldn't stand it. So they added the feature to turn your arms off and go back to the ghost hands that were in the original OS. You can find that under accessibility in the settings. I turned that off the second I heard about it, and I'm a lot happier about that. But that's not on this rundown, so that's not something that they included. But that option is there if you want it. I now have the mirror and the meta avatar and the weird googly looking arms turned off. And frankly, my UI experience is a lot better for it. Then there was the big controversy. I released a video a few months ago that said the biggest thing that scared me about Quest 3, that worried me about Quest 3, was we don't know what we don't know. Before PSVR 2 came out, no one thought about mirror or reprojection or all the ghosting that was going to happen there. These are things that they couldn't know until the headsets got in a while and they figured these things out. The thing we didn't know about Quest 3 was the battery life. We all knew it was going to be 2 hours. What we didn't know was that our Quest 2 batteries weren't going to be able to fuel this thing, because this thing is pulling a lot more power than the Quest 2 did. And it makes sense why it does. With the new chip, with the mixed reality cameras, the extra color cameras in here, and the depth sensor and all the other things that this headset is doing, it just requires a lot more juice, even though the battery is bigger and has a higher capacity, the internal battery that is. I made a bigger deal about it than I probably should have, and I kind of turned around on this because I looked at it from like a broader perspective. Your average VR user isn't in VR more than about 2 hours anyway. Most of them are probably in there for like an hour to 90 minutes. So this is a problem that really only affects enthusiasts, and we tend to be the loudest, a very, very, very vocal minority, but we're not the millions and millions and millions of people who are using this casually for things like working out. I don't know a single person who works out in VR more than 2 hours. If you are one of those people, please let me know down in the comments. There are more people who are spending less than 2 hours than are spending more than 3 hours. I'll say that. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Meta does need to fix the battery issue, where apparently some of the battery backups are not staying connected. I ran into that issue on a few of the batteries that I tested, where it would say your socket or your port got dirty and you need to unplug it and clean it out or something like that, but it was plugged in the entire time. Now, if they can't fix that with software, I hope they're able to do that, because that is actually a legitimate problem that needs to be fixed. But a lot of the issue from all the batteries were that the batteries were just simply underpowered for Quest 3, and unfortunately we're having to learn some painful lessons. Like, I know people who bought the Bobo M3 strap, but they already had 3 or 4 or 5 batteries from their Quest 2 experience, so they could just hot swap them out. But for a lot of us who only had like 1 battery backup, we were kind of left out in the cold and we're still scrambling. So would I recommend Quest 3 now after a month? Again, it depends. If you are someone who uses this for PC VR, this is a no-brainer. This is the best value-driven PC VR headset on the market. So if you're looking to upgrade for Quest 2 for PC VR, or even for Pico 4, go ahead and get this. You'll be very happy with it. If you're someone who doesn't use your Quest 2 a whole lot right now, because you were disappointed in the quality of the games, the graphics in the games, I think you're going to be very happy with this. Some of the Quest 3 enhancements that we've seen have been absolutely mind-blowing, and the stuff that's coming down the pike now, I'm very excited for it. So if you were on the fence for that specific reason, then yeah, go ahead and jump in. If you're just not in the VR in general, this headset's not going to sway you one way or the other, because I really don't think, at least right now, the mixed reality stuff, which is the new piece of Quest 3, is going to pull you back into the fold. So that's where I'm at after a month. Still really love my Quest 3, still really happy with my Quest 3, but also still being patient and waiting for more to come. And inevitably there are going to be some letdowns, and those people were excited about Ghostbusters. I personally was excited about Ghostbusters, and it's kind of falling flat. I actually ended up refunding it because I really wasn't happy with my experience with it after about 90 minutes, and reading reviews and just feeling like it wasn't going to get any better. So we're going to have some duds in there, because that's just nature of the beast, but I still think the best is yet to come in this. So wraps up the 1 month check-in. I hope this was helpful for you guys. We're going to do another one of these. We'll probably do a news video next month for the 60-day, and then we'll do another check-in with me, tell you how I'm feeling about the headset after the 3 months mark. So look for that sometime in January. Also be on the lookout for some guides that are coming. I've got one coming that I've been working on and refining over and over and over again. And I got some fun videos coming going into the holiday season, so be on the lookout for those. So this guy's going to tell you how to get the most out of your headset. Then I hit a bit of a lull, but believe me, all the content is coming. More importantly, let me know if you own a Quest 3, how you're feeling about it right now, or if you're thinking about getting one, what's swaying you one way or the other. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those in the comments. I appreciate it. If you want to see what I thought about Quest 3 after 1 week, watch this video. It should be somewhere up on the screen right now. And as always, thank you for watching.